All right, I think we can go ahead and get started. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending where you're dialing in from, and welcome to today's webinar. We're really excited to have everyone join to learn a little bit about the products available in the Google Marketing Platform, the value of the entire marketing platform, how the tools work together, and other information. So thank you again, everyone, for joining. We'll go ahead and jump right in. A couple housekeeping items. Hopefully you can hear us and see my screen share, but please let us know if you can by typing yes in the chat panel. We will show our video here in a minute, but we're actually preserving that for bandwidth purposes. But just so you know, we are real people presenting this webinar. We'll share that here in a minute. But also we'll have a few polls along the webinar, so feel free to stay engaged. We have a chat and questions panel in the GoToWebinar for you to leave comments or questions. We'll try to monitor those as we go, but of course we'll have some time at the end, ideally, to answer those additionally. But of course our emails are in the next slide and the last slide as well if you have anything you want to connect with directly. And of course, the most common question that I'm sure someone will ask, which is totally fine. Yes, we are recording this webinar. We will absolutely send it out along with the slide deck, I believe on our website and with our marketing team. Please let us know if you have any questions again, and if you could just type in yes in the chat panel to confirm you can hear me and see the screen share, that would be useful. I actually don't see any yeses, so I'm a little nervous no one can hear me. Oh, I see people are typing in the questions panel. Perfect. So I think that's the majority of folks can hear me, and we can continue on. So thank you for confirming. So now we'll share our video for a quick second so that you know who is presenting. So my name is Amin Shaki. I am the head of growth at InfoTrust. My colleague Ariel will also be leading a portion of this presentation. She's a lead analytics consultant here at InfoTrust. We're really excited to have everyone join. And for those that don't know, InfoTrust is a web analytics consulting and product technology company, very closely partnered with Google. For any Googlers that might be on the line, hello again. And we work in this space a lot with the marketing platform and with Google Analytics 360 and all the various products. So really knowledgeable and excited to share with you the value of the entire marketing platform and all the products. And we do these types of webinars and sessions a lot across our multiple offices in the US, in Barcelona, Spain, as well as in Dubai. But again, really happy for everyone to join. We're going to toggle off our cameras though to save on bandwidth and make sure it's really smooth, but just wanted to give a quick hello and so you know who you're talking to, or I guess who's talking to you. So we'll toggle that off and hopefully you can still see the presentation and we will continue. So I mentioned a little bit about InfoTrust just so everyone knows who we are and that we know what we're talking about. We're a global company helping organizations with anything under measurement, including compliance, security, architecture, implementation, reporting insights, strategy, all of that, and certified across a number of Google products. And that's why we're very qualified to discuss this topic. We work with Google every single day, along with really awesome organizations, Fortune 500 companies, e-commerce retailers, CPG, news and media verticals, you name it. And we also have our own products and technologies that we create, such as Tag Inspector from a compliance and validation platform, as well as partner outside of the Google ecosystem with other technologies that supplement the measurement ecosystem, if you will. So spend a lot of time in these platforms and looking forward to having this webinar. As far as the agenda for today, this is what we have on deck. So I will be going over an introduction to the Google Marketing Platform, what it is, what it entails, high-level value, and a couple of points. I'll be passing it over to Ariel to do an individual product deep dive with the majority of the products that are included in the marketing platform. Then she'll toss it back over to me to close out that section. We'll talk about if the Google Marketing Platform or any products within it make sense for your business or which businesses it makes sense for, and then quickly get to next steps in getting started and hopefully have some time for additional questions. But again, feel free to chime in with your questions or comments as we go. All right, so why use the Google Marketing Platform and what is it? The Google Marketing Platform, it's essentially a collection of best-in-class technology to help marketers and advertisers deliver great experiences for their customers, both on the advertising side and on-site with their digital platforms. And it's really meant to engage your customers at each stage of their programmatic journey or ecosystem. And it's designed in true Google fashion to closely integrate various different products that have different purposes so that there's minimal data loss as you're passing data between an advertising system to your analytics or measurement system, to your on-site testing system, which we'll all talk about, and even allow some advanced capabilities like advanced targeting, retargeting, reporting, and insights. But I think that probably one of the most powerful capabilities with the GMP is its enablement of centralized measurement and management of all these platforms. One main reason that Google actually migrated to having a unified platform versus disparate products is because there's a lot of enterprises that are using these products and having to log in and out separately or manage them in different areas, especially when it comes to compliance or user access or even just joint reporting. So the marketing platform enables you to bring some things together, go a little faster with your marketing and advertising, yet with more confidence since you have better data integrations and collection there. So we'll go into a little bit more detail here in a moment. One visual that we really like to share is, as many of you know, there's a lot of different technologies out in the ecosystem that can do a lot of different things. And it's only growing. The number of technologies for digital marketing is just exploding. What we like about the Google Marketing Platform is that it, again, brings different key aspects of the digital marketing and advertising ecosystem into one grouped set of products that closely integrate. And especially when considering all the regulations and changes to browsers with ITP and ETP and all those, bringing this single platform with all the products closely integrated and really sharing the data is key. Not only for the data loss, but also just for speed to insights, speed to action as well. So the Google Marketing Platform is designed to kind of touch on all these different areas and bring it together. The individual products that are included in GMP are shown here. This shows you both on the advertising side, you have the Search Ads 360, previously known as DoubleClick Search, Display and Video 360 or Campaign Manager, also previously known as DoubleClick Products. Then on the right side, it's more on the measurement and deployment side. Analytics 360, of course, that's kind of the core, which we'll talk about for data collection and integrations, but also Tag Manager for tracking and deployment on sites, Optimize for testing, experimentation, personalization, and of course, Data Studio for reporting on it all, if you will, data visualization, insights. So we also have on here the Studio Creative product, but for the purpose of this webinar, we're not going to get into it too much since that's purely on the advertising deployment side. We're really going to be talking or focusing on the measurement and enablement of advertising with these initial products here on the right side. Now, you might wonder, what about Google Ads or Google BigQuery? Aren't those Google products that closely integrate? And the answer is yes. And I like showing this overwhelming slide just to show how integral all these products are and how they can integrate very, very closely. Though the Google Marketing Platform only has those products we mentioned on the last slide, you can still bring in and out data between all these different products, including with BigQuery, the Google Cloud Platform, and other tools or technologies that Google might not have a product for today, but may in the future, but that you're already using, such as your DMP, your CRM, and other tools. So I'm not going to go into detail on this slide, but just want to show really the takeaway here is that in our mind, Analytics 360 and Campaign Manager from a data collection and measurement perspective is kind of the core. It's the heart of all the data flow and capabilities that you can enable with the marketing platform, where Display Video 360, Search Ads 360, that's really the activation, and on the advertising side. And then there's various other products that plug in and out that we might touch on, but really we're going to be focusing on these core products here in the middle. I mentioned the Google Marketing Platform and the products within it help minimize data loss. Really what we mean here is because the Google Marketing Platform and all the tools within it use the same cookies to share customer data or the tracking, there's no loss because it's all shared and referencing the same user as they're progressing through your website and platform. Where if you have disparate tools or technologies, you'll need to integrate them and share the data between them, and that can lead to data loss. This is just a high-level example where if you have multiple cookie spaces and you have to do some cookie mapping or stitching or what have you, it can lead to loss where the marketing platform, including analytics, search ads, DV360, campaign manager, they're all closely tied and flowing together as far as the data goes. And again, with GDPR, CCPA, other regulations that are putting some limitations on cookies, if you will, as well as ITP, ETP, you want to go, the reason we find a lot of value with the marketing platform is because they're so closely integrated. You might as well have it all on one single platform with one suite of products that share more closely versus disparate tools. So I see a question came in. I will check that out in a moment, but to kind of summarize our key value adds with the GMP, and again, when looking at Analytics 360 and specifically, integrations, it's a complete solution. We'll show a lot more content around how the data flows between the products. Lots of enterprise capabilities from user management, as well as scalability and enablement. There's some things you can only integrate like DV360 and Analytics 360 when you're using the marketing platform in the enterprise versions. Advanced attribution, which I think we'll touch on, and then audience building. So by having the Google Marketing Platform and the products within it, you can share that data and actually activate a lot more from the insights that you can pull. So it's built for marketing, empowering growth. When we work with a lot of organizations that might not use Google products or Google Marketing Platform, they might use Adobe Analytics or other enterprise tools. Those are still very powerful. Don't get me wrong, we're not trying to downplay any other platforms or tools, and they're actually very solid from our experience on capturing analytics and robust data collection and crunching for what users are doing online with your digital platforms. What we see as a value add with GMP is the speed to insights and actually powering rapid growth and simplicity in true Google fashion, bringing all these products together. When fully deployed and leveraged well, it can really accelerate your business. So I think I saw a question, but it might have been answered. So we will continue. Just let me know, team, if there's anything that I have missed. But we have reached our first poll. So there's a panel that I am going to launch, and you'll see on your screen an ability to actually click one of these answers. But the question is, which actually I will go ahead and launch it now because I think it'll still show the question. There we go. Launch poll. So the question, hopefully you can still hear me, is are you using Google Analytics 360 for core measurement as part of your digital stack? We're curious for those that have joined if Analytics 360 is what you're using and you're interested in the other products, or if you're using a different tool, maybe GA free. So let's take a minute here to allow everyone to jump in and answer. And I will be silent for a few seconds for anyone that might have stepped away. But let's give it about maybe 20 more seconds. I do see some answers coming in though. I see a little over 75% have voted. So keep those votes coming in. Let's see, we'll give it about 10 more seconds because I think we're nearly at 80% have voted. So just if you haven't had a chance to pop into the GoToWebinar and select your answer, we'll give it maybe just 5-10 more seconds, and then I will, I think, share the results. I will say right now, the majority are saying not Analytics 360, but the free version of Google Analytics. That is the vast majority. So let me close this poll and see if I can share the results. So there you go. There's the percentages. Ended up with more than half of you having the free version of GA, not Analytics 360. So curious on the marketing platform capabilities overall. So that's great. We actually will talk about Google Analytics free versus Google Analytics 360 near the end of the webinar. But it looks like some of you sure are using GA 360. So maybe you're using the other products as well, we'll have another poll asking that question. And then few are not sure or not today. So hopefully this will give you a little bit more information for the value there. So let's hide the results, go back to the slides. Hopefully you can still see. And I think at this point, I'm going to pass it over to Ariel for an individual product deep dive for the half or a little bit more than half of the product. So Ariel, over to you.
Awesome, thank you, Amin. So now you guys kind of have an overview of what the Google Marketing Platform is and how everything kind of works together. So I'm going to start by doing a deep dive into Google Analytics and Google Analytics 360. So right now we're not going to touch on the difference between the two platforms, but as Amin mentioned, we do have a slide to address some of that later, and there's also a webinar coming up specifically for that in a couple of weeks or so if you're interested. But talking about Google Analytics in general, it's a platform to understand how users are interacting with your website. So one of the major benefits of Google Analytics is that it captures information from multiple sources. So it can be coming just from your website, it can connect to your app, it can connect to your CRM, but it takes all of that information and tells you what users are doing. What pages are they visiting? Where might they be exiting? Are they converting? All of that information. One of the really nice things about Google Analytics is that you get information about what sources they're coming from, and not every platform will tell you this. So you can understand the difference maybe between your organic traffic versus your paid traffic. You can also understand how your email customers are performing compared to everyone else. And as Amin mentioned, that Analytics 360 integrates with all these other platforms. So this is kind of one of the cornerstone products that Google has. So the next cornerstone product would be Campaign Manager. So where Google Analytics focuses on your website, Campaign Manager focuses on all of your paid media. So this is going to take all of the information from Display and Video 360. It can capture analytics from Search Ads 360, even social media and paid email campaigns. It'll all be in one platform. So this gives you a couple different benefits. One of the main benefits is all your analytics are in one spot, so you don't have to go hunt between platforms and make sure all of the data is consistent. Are you comparing CPM to CPC? It's all in one platform, so you fully understand that. You also get a better picture of the path to conversion and how users are interacting with the various media outlets that you might utilize. And then, so with Campaign Manager, again, both search ads and display and video feed into this platform. So this is one of the cornerstone products as well. The nice thing is that this Campaign Manager takes all of that paid media and it filters into Google Analytics. So using that connection, you can then get an idea of who saw your ad, if they clicked through, how did they then perform on the website? So were they one of your top engaging customers who ended up converting? All right, so those are kind of the two key cornerstone products. So I want to take a deep dive into Display and Video 360. So you can see three of the benefits on the screen. You have a high value for inventory, you have a lot of options. You have a great reach for your audience, and there's a lot of automation options. So talking specifically about inventory, you have the option with Display and Video to advertise in almost any manner that you see fit for display. So you can do just a banner on a page, you can do a video ad, or you can even do audio. So it's really whatever works best for your business. And then with the audience, the amazing thing is that you can build an audience and you can understand the value of that audience before you've even started targeting them. So with the audience, you're going to be able to get an understanding of, do they fit your demographic, and then how much, what's the projection of the impressions that you're going to get and the reach that you're going to get. One more benefit with Display and Video, I mean, if you go to the next slide, please, is you're going to be able to hit almost all major exchanges just through using this Display and Video 360. So with a lot of other display platforms, you might have to kind of figure out where you're going to be showing your ads. With Google Display, you have a variety of options. So then the next product up is Search Ads 360. Search Ads 360 is very similar, except it's working directly with the various search engines. But you still have a lot of the same benefits. You have automation, you have optimization, and insights and reporting, again, all in one platform. And similar to DV360, Search Ads 360 works with a variety of the search engines. So Amin, if you click through to the next slide, please.
Yes, actually, there's a couple comments that we might have lost audio, but I can hear you, Ariel. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, maybe it's just for the one person that's commenting here. So if anyone else has lost audio, please let us know in the questions or comments panel, but I think it might just be for the one user at the moment. So we will go ahead and continue. Sorry about that, Ariel, but
No, you're fine.
that comment.
So with Search Ads 360, again, one of the major benefits is you can connect to all the major search engines. So I know a number of customers that I work with don't just advertise through Google Ads. They'll use Bing Ads, Yahoo, or maybe even Baidu. So with Search Ads 360, you can set all of that up in one platform. And very similar to DV360, one of the major benefits is you're creating campaigns, ads, keywords, and you can share them across all these different engines. So it's help optimizing your time as a marketer and as you're configuring all of this. And then again, on the back end of that, all of the reporting for all of the search engines is in this Search Ads 360 platform, or it could be passed to Campaign Manager or Google Analytics, depending on what integrations you have set up. So there's a lot of time savings just by using some of these different paid search platforms and paid display platforms that Google has. And then talking specifically about reporting, this chart does a good job of showing how everything integrates together. So we haven't touched on Data Studio and Optimize 360 just yet, but we will in just a couple minutes. But as we mentioned before, everything kind of feeds into Campaign Manager and Analytics 360. So again, with all of these campaigns, you can see the impressions that people are seeing on your advertising. Are they watching your video? Are they watching it all the way through? Are they clicking on an ad? And then once they've done that, how are they interacting on your website? Are those users who clicked on a search ad, are they the most engaged on your website? And is that who's ending up purchasing your product? One of the other benefits that's not explicitly stated is you can build audiences in all of these different platforms, and then you can feed them into the other. So if you want to target a user who maybe added a product to their cart but didn't check out, you can do that by building an audience in Google Analytics and then passing it to one of the paid platforms. So now the question is, you have all this paid media and you have Google Analytics. So how do you set up all the tags and the tracking to capture all this information? And how do you do it maybe without having to go through a developer every single time? Some of that is going to be dependent on how your company sets everything up, but Tag Manager might be the solution for you. So Tag Manager is a platform that allows you to install one code, the Tag Manager code, on your website in the source code. And then moving forward, all the other tags and information could be put specifically into Google Tag Manager. There's a lot of benefits to that. It allows you to have a lot more control over what's firing on the website and a lot more understanding of if something's outdated and maybe should be taken off the website. For a lot of companies, this eliminates all of the need for going to a developer every single time you need a change. The developer might just be the barrier before it goes live. It also allows a lot of the tagging, sequencing, or when a tag should or should not fire. So you can tell Tag Manager, we don't want any tags to fire on certain pages of the website. And then the final benefit, and the one thing that I like to call out with Tag Manager, is it does not slow down the website at all. So whatever your page speed is today, adding Tag Manager should not change that whatsoever. So that's a lot of information all at once. And I know that there's questions coming in. So give me a second to go through questions. And in the meantime, I will put this poll up and see how everyone is using, or if you're using any of these products right now. So we're going to click launch poll. So right now, is your organization currently using any of the products? Search Ads 360, Display and Video 360, or Campaign Manager? All right, we're starting to see responses come in. Looks like so far everyone might not be using all of them, but we're getting a good mix of Campaign Manager and some search ads. Give everyone about 10 more seconds. All right, looks like we got a good portion of people entered. So based on the results, let me close the poll, and that should let me share the results then too. So it looks like right now a lot of people aren't using any of these platforms. And one of the questions that did come in is, how easy is it to set any of these up? So I've worked with a variety of them for a bunch of different companies, and the setup and configuration isn't too challenging for any of them. The biggest thing that I recommend for all of the platforms and for any of the Google marketing stack is to really understand from a business perspective what your end goal is and what you want to get out of it. I do a lot of talking through with clients kind of how they want to use it and what they've done in the past to make sure that we can lay out the right structure for how the advertising will best fit so that you get the maximum value out of it. But I will pass it back over to Amin to walk you through some other products.
Thank you very much, Ariel. And one comment I wanted to quickly make additionally on the Tag Manager side, to kind of build on a slide earlier, Tag Manager is super valuable to help streamline the data collection on site, as Ariel mentioned. One technical clarification I want to make, Campaign Manager and Google Analytics 360 will still need data collection off your website, but it can be deployed through Tag Manager. But as far as the integrations I was mentioning before between the different products, that all happens on the UI side of the technologies. So for those that might not be familiar, once you deploy a really sound implementation on the website for the data collection using Tag Manager, the data layer for Campaign Manager and Analytics 360, connecting the different tools like DV360, SA360, Optimize, which we'll talk about, that all happens on the UI side of the platform or of the products themselves. So again, in Google fashion, trying to simplify, they're trying to minimize as much of the technical implementation. And even with the technical implementation, they have a product to make it safe, reliable, accurate, and fast with minimal impact. And a lot of the configuration happens on the UI of the products themselves. So again, added simplicity, particularly if you're currently using other ad serving platforms or advertising technologies, they'll need their own data collection deployed on the site directly, where this again streamlines and simplifies. Really wanted to stress that and why we're huge fans of Google Tag Manager and the marketing platform. All right, so to move on to some of the other platforms that are not advertising specific, one is Google Optimize 360. This is Google's experimentation, testing, and personalization platform for websites. These are a couple different benefits that we like to share. One, as mentioned many times before, ease of use because of the simple setup and the quick to deploy experiments and testing with no, again, on-site coding required that other testing approaches might require. You can still run advanced experiments, particularly with the integration with Analytics 360, as you can bring in data in and out of both tools and analyze completely in Analytics 360, but also use some custom goal configuration or KPIs you might already have set up in GA to power your Google Optimize experiments and the modeling or the predictive winning variance, if you will. And then because it's a Google product, there has to be a media integration. So you can actually connect it directly with Google Ads and tie different tests that you might be running for campaigns, ad groups, or keywords, also to customize the landing pages tied to those paid search interactions as well. So you can really have a seamless user experience from anything you're deploying on the advertising side within Google Ads to the on-site experience once they land from clicking through. So a few quick benefits. On the ease of use side, again, it's quick setup. For Optimize 360, you would need Analytics 360 to also integrate. However, both Google Analytics Free and Optimize Free are also possible to use and can be integrated as well. But the value with using Analytics 360 and Optimize 360 together is that data sharing of audiences. So as Ariel, I think, mentioned a little bit before, using Analytics 360, you can build customized targeting groups for passing it to Google Ads or Display and Video 360. You can also pass that same audience to Optimize so that their site experience matches any kind of advertising they're seeing outside of the site as well. So it's really powerful integration, really easy to set up, and no coding required, especially when you're trying to actually build the different variants, which I believe on the next slide I have a GIF to kind of show you, because we didn't want to only have slides that talk about the value and the purpose, but actually give you a little bit of a view in case you have not created a free account with Google Optimize yet, or are curious how the user flow actually works. So what you'll see here is just the interface. It's, again, trying to be really simple where you can create additional variants of a particular page, define the targeting that you actually want to deploy this experiment or test to, and then select an objective, which could be your Google Analytics goals. And when you click edit, it loads up the site that you're testing directly and gives you that visual editor that you can modify. I think the GIF is a little bit faster than I expected to actually follow through as I'm explaining, but you'll see it's meant to walk you through the steps to deploy an experiment without any continuous engineering effort. Of course, getting it deployed on the site initially requires some engineering effort, but then you can decide the page targeting, the audience targeting, the variant structure, and how you're actually going to have Optimize measure the results based on Google Analytics data specifically. So again, you'll get this slide deck so you can reference this kind of walkthrough, but feel free to create a free account of Google Optimize and poke around. All right, the next product we want to talk about, it's a little bit newer to the gang, if that's appropriate to say, and that's Surveys 360. This is around providing a way to collect and showcase qualitative data. So where Analytics 360 and Campaign Manager and all the advertising platforms are, really around your users' interactions with your advertising or your website, Surveys 360 is a way to deploy almost like a Q&A. So there's two different purposes with Surveys 360. You can deploy an on-site web satisfaction survey or some kind of pop-up when users are navigating your site to ask them some qualitative questions and gather some of that data. Or you can also retarget users as they navigate away from your site and have surveys pop up on other publisher sites that are related to your brand. Some of our clients that do this are asking abandonment questions. Was there a reason you did not purchase? Because we created an audience of abandoners, created a survey to ask a couple questions. What could we have done to make your experience better? Would you come back if there was a coupon? Something like that that's more qualitative and survey based versus advertising and retargeting based on that side. But like other Google products, it's fast and easy to set up. It's a very visual way to create a survey, add a couple questions. You can decide whether it's on-site deployment, which you'll need to add a little bit of a code either through Google Tag Manager, again, a very positive value with that tool, or directly on your source code, or just simply create the survey to be shown to users as they navigate across other websites, such as publisher sites, or if they're using the Google Opinions mobile app to provide their feedback on some of these surveys. So because lots of users are actually completing the questions and panels because they get incentivized to do so, you have really large reach and amount of users that you can access for this qualitative data. Listing out the benefits here, some of which I already mentioned, but there are custom features, so you can really target specific groups of users based on geographic targeting, remarketing lists, like I mentioned before, such as abandoners, or even custom user lists. And there's millions of respondents, so it's really good to get lots of reach, lots of access to qualitative data that you might not get otherwise from simply Google Analytics or Campaign Manager, which is more quantitative data tracked off your website. And I believe the last product that we wanted to transition to is Data Studio. This is one of the tools that can kind of bring it all together from a visualization and reporting perspective. So Campaign Manager and Google Analytics and really all the tools, Optimize, Surveys, they all have reporting built into them. But to have a single view across all these different platforms of your reporting metrics, as well as outside the Google Marketing Platform, maybe some of your backend data or any other data sources that you want to include in your reporting, that's where Data Studio can really help provide that single place to connect it all, visualize it, and customize how you're actually reporting versus relying just on the product pre-built reports and configuration itself. It's really quick and easy to use. It's free completely. There used to be a paid version of Data Studio, but now it's been enhanced so that anyone can use it. I think across most countries of the world as well. It's fast to produce. It's really shareable, similar to Google Drive, but I think outside of Google Drive now, but same capabilities with any other Google product where you have shareability across your business. So we find a lot of value creating Data Studio dashboards and reports. It's easy, and you can either use pre-built templates that are available on Data Studio's website, or you can create your own and visualize data however you wish. And I think out of all the products, maybe this is just a personal opinion, I feel Data Studio is having the most rapid deployment and enhancements. It seems like almost every week or couple weeks there's new tweaks and enhancements to how you can report and visualize all of your data. And it's really robust, and we still consider an enterprise platform, even though it is free, just because of all the investment Google's made into this product over the number of years, and the auto integrations with the rest of the Google Marketing Platform. So data can flow directly without having any built customized connections, unless you need to for any kind of custom reporting purposes. Whew. So that was the big section where we talk about the product deep dive. And now we want to talk a little bit about when does GMP actually make sense for your business. I'm going to take just a quick pause and see if there's any questions. I think some we might take at the end, but one quick one I think was related to Data Studio, I believe. Is it going to stay free? Excellent question. If Data Studio will remain free, we sure hope so. From a scalability and I guess penetration perspective, once Data Studio was launched and was free, it's really taken off. Will it remain? It's hard to say, especially being a non-direct Googler. As partners, we have not heard anything about them charging for Data Studio. That being said, some of you may have seen on the news that Google acquired a different technology called Looker. That is a business intelligence and visualization platform as well, and will be, I believe, a paid visualization platform that has a slightly different use case and different capabilities in Data Studio. So I believe, just based on that, again, my personal opinion is that Data Studio will remain free and designed for all, where other separate tools such as Looker might be the more enterprise and separate use case, but similar visualization platform that will be a charged product. Hopefully that answers that question. And we can circle back on some of the other questions at the end as well. But good question. Okay, so if you're trying to consider some of the products within the GMP or the entire marketing platform for your business, remember that it's designed for enterprises. Analytics 360 and Campaign Manager and all the tools that we talked about, they're really designed to fulfill enterprise needs. And these are just some of the the reasons here. Pre-built intelligent tools and automated bidding, those are kind of built into some of the advertising platforms. Integration friendly, I think you've heard us repeat that more and more. More control, user permissioning, and API access, those are all things that can come with the marketing platform holistically. But then also the support. The technologies themselves have a lot of capabilities, but one thing with any of the enterprise platforms and the marketing platform, especially when you work with a partner, it comes with human support and enablement to actually help you get it deployed and deployed correctly versus just buying the product and having all of the deployment solely resting on your shoulders. Similar to that, there's a lot of enterprise level security and reliability baked into the different products. This particular slide is actually relevant to Analytics 360 itself, where there's data freshness guarantees built into the SLAs, such as 4 hours or less full data freshness for Analytics 360, where for Analytics Free, it's 24 or 48 hours, I believe, and we'll have a slide kind of comparing that. But also dedicated account management, implementation services, user trainings. Really, when you invest in the marketing platform, you come with a whole team to help you deploy it across your business. Let's see, I think I see another, couple questions coming in. I'll answer one of these questions, and then we'll maybe save some for the end so I can maybe pass it over to Ariel as well. But one question is, how do I go about buying any of these 360 tools? Very good question. And unfortunately, that's one of the things that is a little bit still segmented in the sense where some of the platforms you can buy, the 360 versions, you can buy either directly with Google or through a partner. Some of them you have to go through a partner. And sometimes it depends on your business. If you work for a Fortune 500 company, Google might have different rules for how they want to submit a license, if you will, because legal teams are larger and there's a lot more data that you're working with here. Typically, though, what we say, or the fact of the matter is, Analytics 360, Optimize 360, Tag Manager, and any of the free products like Data Studio, if you need support there, or even Survey 360, those can go through a partner. And that's most of the ecosystem is going through a partner such as InfoTrust as a reseller to help not only get you the license, but help deploy and provide all the services shown on the screen. Campaign Manager, Display and Video 360, and Search Ads 360, the advertising tools specifically, that really depends on your business. If you are large enough, Google might want an exclusive license with you as your technology provider. However, if you're a smaller retailer, usually they would require an agency, an advertising partner to actually have that resold to you. So it's a little bit more variable on that side of the marketing platform. We'll come back to the rest of the questions, but these are good just to break it up here. But feel free to keep dropping those in. So as we mentioned a few times earlier, we wanted to make sure we included a comparison of the Google Analytics free version, which from the poll, majority of you guys are using, versus the Analytics 360 upgraded version. And as Ariel mentioned, and as shown in the chat panel, we have a whole webinar exclusively on this topic to go way deeper. But essentially, there are different capabilities that are available when you upgrade to Analytics 360 around processing, exporting options, and really access to your data, reporting and integrations, and then the support. Since most of you have Google Analytics free, not sure if that means you're working with a partner or with Google or simply on your own within your organization. But with a 360 version, it's all included. And really, one of the most important capabilities, I guess, or value adds with upgrading to the marketing platform and 360 versions is you get that partner and you get to actually deploy enhancements across your business. The one area that our clients really seek our support, our guidance, is how is the industry doing different deployments, or what are the innovations and best practices, because we have that visibility across different verticals, across different customers. So as a value-added partner, we can provide that with the marketing platform. Okay, let's continue to the next slide. Wanted to show one more comparison between a free and 360 version of a product, which is for Google Optimize. So Google Optimize does have a free version, a couple limitations around how many simultaneous experiments, the objectives that you can select and the limitations there. So again, as a reminder, when deploying an experiment or a test through Google Optimize, you have to select what are the objectives and goals that the experiment will be based off. When it's assessing which variant is most beneficial or drives the most lift, it needs some goals to actually run its model against. With the free version, you have only a few pre-selected choices. With the 360 version, you can select a lot more objectives to include in that modeling, in that reporting, and to be able to analyze really the value of the different variants and things you're deploying. Now, of course, enhanced targeting, you have all of the targeting that I showed in the animated GIF earlier, but with 360, you have the Google Analytics powered audiences, which really can help you streamline your strategy for how you're engaging your different audience across advertising and on-site through experimentation. And then SLAs and support, as we discussed before, enterprise version comes with enterprise-backed SLAs. So we've talked, and I showed a complicated slide earlier of all the ways the data can connect between the different products. We wanted to also show specifically for audience integrations, how does the data flow and how are the different connections made? So this is a really great visual to show you how remarketing and retargeting is enabled from Google Analytics 360 to Google Ads, which technically is not part of the marketing platform, but it is a Google product that closely integrates, to also display and video 360. So that's the advertising audience integrations from GA or Analytics 360 outward. Also, as I just mentioned before, Optimize 360 is there, but same with Surveys 360. So as you're retargeting your customers as they navigate away from your site with surveys on other publisher sites, you can use the data from Analytics 360 and Google Ads really to power those. So these are some of the key integrations on the audience sharing side within the products in the marketing platform. This is a reference slide. I'm not going to go through it in detail, but it shows you individual metrics and dimensions that are available once you connect Google Analytics and Campaign Manager together. So that'll be for reference as we send the presentation out later. And to close, perhaps a simple, maybe complicated view of how all these products can work together with a simple customer journey. So pre-site navigation, they might see some of your advertising deployed through DV360, Campaign Manager, and Search Ads. When they land on your site, data is collected, deployed through Tag Manager, passed into Google Analytics and Campaign Manager as well. This can also include integrations with your backend systems or your CRM. Data can be exported out to BigQuery or to Data Studio for analysis and modeling or other ways. But really, once that data is collected into Analytics 360 and Campaign Manager, including the integrated CRM data, you can then build remarketing and retargeting audiences to send back out to Google Ads, Display and Video 360, or via some new integrations or newer-ish, such as Salesforce Marketing Cloud for personalized emails, bring them back to the site and then personalize their experience. So either their first visit to the site or their repeat visit, you can use Google Optimize to have personalization, experimentation, and testing also deployed. So I wanted to show just a very quick visual of how these different products might play in to a typical customer journey or interactions with your brand. All right, so we have about 10 minutes with only next steps and getting started. I know there's a couple comments and questions, so let me go through this slide quickly, then we'll jump to the questions as well. How to get started, from our perspective, implementing or identifying if the marketing platform works for you or not is similar to any other project. We need some stakeholder alignment, identifying those goals and KPIs, scoping out, what are we trying to actually accomplish and which of these tools can help us accomplish that, and then going through the various processes to get that internal team and project plan deployed. This is actually something that we work a lot in when organizations are ready to upgrade to the marketing platform and use more of the products and tools. We can help them through an entire process of maybe piloting and proving the value, or fully deploying at scale across all their digital properties, platforms, markets, brands, what have you. So this is just a high-level view of how to get started when assessing the tools. And shameless plug, as InfoTrust is often partnering up with different organizations, we like to look at it as a journey with our partnerships where we go through a crawl, walk, run model, and these are the different things that we focus on when deploying or investigating if the marketing platform makes sense. So starting with that architecture, governance, auditing, and ensuring, how can we get the setup in an optimal place so we can do some insights, analysis, drive marketing, drive the bottom line, do some testing, and then ultimately run with some forecasting, some predictive analytics, running customer lifetime value, and really transforming our business. I'm going to actually pause on this slide because we have two upcoming webinars that I think are highly relevant for this group. One is Google Analytics and Adobe Analytics, two enterprise analytics platforms. What are the differences or similarities, and when should you consider one or the other? There's pros and cons with each, and we're going to try to share both of those since we work with clients on both sides of the fence, and they have different value and purposes with that. So that's on November 6th. Be sure to sign up on our website. And then, as mentioned a few times, a follow-up to this webinar is Analytics Free versus Analytics 360, the key differences that you must understand before upgrading. So check out those events on our website. I'm going to take a pause here and take a look at some of the questions that may have come in. Let's see if we can answer some of those, because I think now is the time. So one question I think is highly relevant to this slide that came in a little bit earlier, so sorry we're just getting to it now, is how easy is it to set up Google Analytics 360? Is it like the GA with the code is copied into the header? So I think Ariel touched on this a bit, but really the upgrade from Google Analytics Free to Google Analytics 360 requires no true code changes, meaning the code that you have in place for Google Analytics Free, you can keep exactly as is. The upgrade happens all in the product side and really on the back end by Google. They essentially turn on a switch, which allows you to process more data, collect more data, report, have lots of other features, and we'll go a lot more into depth on this upcoming webinar. However, with the Google Analytics Free version, you're limited to how many dimensions you can collect, for example, or custom metrics. So if you're reaching those limits of 20 custom dimensions or attributes, when you upgrade to GA360, you might want to start tracking additional custom dimensions, which might require additional coding, but it's not absolutely needed. You can go from GA Free to GA360 with no code changes. It's simply on the back end by Google and their processing and servers, as well as in the UI. So hopefully that explains it, but of course, this upcoming webinar will go into much more detail there. One more question that I will take here. Are some of the tools in the Google Marketing Platform more for specific industries like retail or news sites, or have you seen all of those used across many industries? It's a great question. In short, the Google Marketing Platform can serve many different industries. There's not one that it's more favored over or least applicable to. What I will say, however, is there's a lot of different reports, both on the free and enterprise versions of the different products that are maybe retail or advertiser focused, we'll say. Things like enhanced e-commerce and some of the attribution reporting, it's more around advertisers trying to bring users to their site to convert in some way, whether that's buying or signing up or something like that. On the publisher side, such as news and media sites, there are tools that are not part of the Google Marketing Platform, but are enterprise tools that can integrate. Specifically, Google Ads Manager, I guess is what it's called now. It's previously known as DoubleClick for publishers. That is a specific tool for publishers, for news and media sites. They're not advertisers necessarily, but it's also meant for the enterprise tools exclusively. Ariel, I don't know if you wanted to chime in and add anything else to that, because I know you have a few clients you work with that use Google Ads Manager, previously known as DoubleClick for publishers.
Nope, I would just echo everything you've said. None of the products are super specific except for that that previously called DoubleClick for publishers.
Yeah. Okay. If you do have a specific vertical question, or your particular e-commerce or retail site, for example, and you want to know what are the specific value adds from the GMP for your business, feel free to reach out to us. And here in the next slide or two, I think I'll put up our emails again, as well as how you can reach out to us. But we'll close off with one more question before we kind of pause in case there's any other questions. The question here is, we use Adobe Analytics and probably won't move to Analytics 360 soon. Are any of these tools still of value to us? That's a really good question. Adobe Analytics has some integrations with Google advertising platforms, but not as robust. So it really depends on your use case. What I would say is, if you are using Adobe Analytics and you're interested in also using, let's say, displaying Video 360 or Search Ads 360, there are some integrations that can be built custom, and there's also some auto integrations, though limited, that you can do between the products. So we can discuss your specific use case further, and really when we work with organizations that have a specific toolkit, let's say Google Marketing Platform, but they want to explore other platforms, we can give that kind of unbiased view of the pros and cons for the different technologies, hence the webinar that we also have coming up. What I will say though is the close integration of the Google Marketing Platform products, it's really hard to rival. Analytics 360 with Optimize and Google Ads, as well as Campaign Manager and DV360, it's also closely tied together because it's all Google. There's a lot of advantages with going with the marketing platform. But you can still use some of the products if you're using Adobe Analytics, as I'm sure you're using Google Ads regardless for paid search advertising. Hopefully that answers that question. All right, well, I'm gonna stick around for just a few minutes. We're right at the top of the hour, how about that? If you guys have any more questions, comments that you don't wanna ask in this webinar or you wanna follow up with, our emails are on the screen here. If you also have any additional questions or needs and you want us to reach out to you, feel free to click yes option in the poll that I'm about to pop open. So those are our emails if you want to check that out, but I will go ahead and launch the final poll. And with that, I want to also say thank you for everyone for joining. It was a pleasure having everyone. If you have anything else that you want us to cover in the future or want to continue the conversation, please don't hesitate to reach out. But appreciate you guys filling out this poll, and have a wonderful day.